Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. Today, we get to sit down with one of my dearest friends, Christina Jandali, as we talk about how to grow a profitable Facebook group. I am so excited for you to listen in on this conversation. Christina is actually putting on a free training that you need to go register for right now. So before we dive in, just go to rachelngom.com/Facebook, rachelngom.com/Facebook, and then you can jump into that free training that Christina is doing. All right, let's jump into the interview. Christina, welcome back. How are we doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. It's been a busy day. You're my fourth interview today.
Oh my goodness. Stacking them all together.
I know. I'm getting really a lot better at batching my podcast. So I'm really excited that we get to chat. So I know we've had you on the show before, but for people that don't know you, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yes. My name is Christina Jandali. I am known by many as the go-to expert when it comes to Facebook groups. And I started my business from ground zero 7 years ago. Can't believe how time flies. And it took me 5 years to build a 7-figure company, multiple 7 figures since. And really just a big stand on using connection-based marketing and using Facebook groups as a tool to be able to create those connections with your audience and with your people.
Okay. Why Facebook groups? Why is that the thing you kind of settled on?
Yeah. It's so interesting. So some people love social media. Some people hate it. I do have a confession. It would not be where I would choose to spend my time. If it was just me, probably wouldn't be on there. I wouldn't be spending my time on there. And one of the things that I always found with social platforms is that, like, if you're looking at Instagram, or you're looking at even your Facebook business page, or you're looking at YouTube, or you're looking at all these platforms, if you think about it, it's almost like it's like your storefront. So like you have like window dressing, it's like you're walking by a store and there's like the mannequins all dressed up and you're like, okay, do I want to know more? Do I want to dive in deeper? Like, it's like that little teaser. And for me, as we go through that, that's great. It like pulls people in, it gets them to come into your world, it gets them to come into your sphere. But your community or your group is like where people get to come in the store. It's like, hey, come on in, like, let's hang out. And it just gives you the opportunity to have an experience that creates a level of intimacy. Even as your group grows and scales, it creates intimacy, it creates connection. And so from the difference of social media, it's like there's the storefront, and then you get to come inside the community. And then from the other perspective of when it comes to your email list, of course, we want to have an email list, we want to build your database. But I remember early on when I was emailing my list, I was like, okay, did they like it? Do they resonate with what I'm saying? Do they know what I'm talking about? And I felt like I was having a one-sided conversation. And quite honestly, I felt a little bit lonely. Like I didn't know who was on the other side. And when I felt like I was at the time really struggling. And when I started my group and just focusing on building the relationships and connection, I went from like struggling to have my first 5-figure month, like not happening, falling short, like banging my head against the wall, to having a $30,000 cash month that first month that I started my group. I was like, wow, I think I'm onto something. So it's just been like such just from that connection base, it just feels like you're just having like human conversations, which feels a little bit easier.
Yeah. So not a lot of revenue to 30K cash month. That's pretty huge. What have you seen like since then?
Yeah, since then, I'm such a big believer in Facebook groups for so many reasons. And I love testing things because it's like one thing we can say, it's easy to say, oh, well, that worked then and things have changed. There's more people in the industry. And so I'm a big believer in retesting and retesting to see if things still work. And so one of the things that we've had, like when it comes to Facebook groups, and I've had many different variations of Facebook group. I've had a long-term one, I've had short-term ones, I've had pop-up Facebook groups and everything in between. But I've had the opportunity of turning a group, I'll just give a few examples, a group of 200 people into over $200,000 of revenue.
Wow.
In just a matter of a couple of weeks. And I've had groups of thousands of people turn into 6-figure launches. And I've had groups of thousand people that really didn't produce any results. So I share this because I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I've tried lots of things that did work, didn't work, and everything in between. But when we really take a look at what works and taking a look at the possibility, I've never been able to see anything comparable of having a relatively small audience and platform and community and turn that into such high revenue generation. I remember I just thought my mind was blown. I'm like, wow, 200 people into a couple $100,000 of revenue. And that was on a $3,000 offer, just to put in perspective.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Ticket. Yes. So we'll be, we're going to extend an invitation as well as we're on this to go into a free training series that I'm doing. And I'll go into more specific details, but really taking a look at bringing in the right people, creating connection with those right people, and really finding out what's on their heart. What are they looking for? What do they really need support with? What are they hungry for? And bringing them through a free experience that allows you to create demand and desire for your offer and presenting the offer. That particular campaign that I ran, I was actually operating as an affiliate for someone else's program, but I created an experience in the group and connection in the group and created my own community going through it that produced those results. So whether you're selling your own product or you're selling a product of someone else's, same concept, you're still bringing people through, creating connection, bringing them through a free experience, creating desire and demand for whatever it is you're going to lead people to, and then talking through any of the objections or questions or things that are going to prevent them to be a yes.
Okay. What are some mistakes you see people make with their Facebook group?
Hands down, number one is making it all about yourself versus them. This is a big one. And it often comes from insecurity of needing to prove. And I've been there. So I'm just like, no worries. I think I've made all the mistakes. But when you feel like you have to prove that people should listen to you, prove that you know what you're talking about, prove that you're good enough, prove that it's perfect, like complete disconnection. You've just lost everything. It's not about being perfect. It's like when you are, it's about being interested versus being interesting. Huge difference. And that's a huge mistake that I see people making, is making it about them. Another mistake that I see people making is they don't have the patience to stick with it, to see it through to the end. Meaning what happens is maybe we decide that we're going to start doing some posts and we're like, oh, no one was engaging on that. Oh, maybe I should just stop. And then we stop and start with our content, and we stop and start with our plan because we think it's working or not working. And we totally forget that all these people are sitting there, they're observing, they're watching you. And the moment that you stop and start is the moment that they lose trust.
Yeah.
They stop trusting you, and therefore they tune out and they stop listening. And you could have had people like right on the edge, to move forward, and you stopped and you backed off, and they just, you completely, broke the relationship. So I think those are two big ones for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking at them versus speaking with them, I'd say is a third. So like you're telling them what to do, you're, being the director of things, you're leading them, but you're not actually creating a two-way dialogue and speaking with them and actually having that reciprocal relationship.
Yeah. There's like so many questions I want to ask you, but I also don't want to go too deep because I know you have a free training that's coming up. Can you talk to us about that training?
Yes, we're going to go through, call it engage your group training. And nobody wants to talk to a ghost town. We don't want to talk to a ghost town. We want people. So in the engage your group training, it's a free training. We're going to be talking about how to really elevate your authority in your Facebook group and have your members seeing you as an authority. We're going to talk about how to call in and attract your perfect people into your group, how to get your people talking and engaging with them. And then we're going to talk about how to convert those members into buyers. So how to attract, how to engage, and how to convert those members into buyers. And that's all of the pieces that we're going to be diving into in the free training.
Well, I'm so excited for that. And what you teach goes so well with what I do with Pinterest and email marketing. So the email marketing aspect is something I'm huge on, but we drive people from our email list to our Facebook group. So they just go hand in hand. And I love
Like
it.
peanut butter and jelly.
Yes. Yeah, they work so well together. It's great synergy there. So the link to register for Christina's training is just rachelngom.com/Facebook, and we'll put that in the chat. What's like the big reason why people should do this now and not say I'll do this later?
Such a great question. So much is changing in the marketplace. More and more people are coming into the industry. There's lots of conversation right now about AI, artificial intelligence, taking over, writing messaging, writing posts, writing that. The challenge is that as we go to more automation, as we go to things changing in the world, as people want to step away, whenever we go, the more automation that we have, like just for example, I was in an airport recently and at the restaurant, they have iPads. So you can order food with the iPad. I'm like, I just want to ask the person, like, what do they recommend? Like, I don't want to talk to, the iPad. I want to talk to a human. And so the more that we have automation, which I love, and there's definitely a place for it, the more we realize that people crave connection. And there is no better place than to create connection with the Facebook group. And as AI starts to play, the user, the person that's inputting what you're going to command of this artificial intelligence or what you're going to call forward is going to depend on your ability to be able to create that human connection. And no matter what happens in the industry, as economies are changing and things are happening, people are always going to lean back on the relationship that they have in order to be making their buying decisions. And if you cannot learn how to create that relationship with other humans, you are going to be passed by those who do. And the most important part, and Rachel, I know that you talk a lot about automation and creating a lot more time and building a business around time. When you build the skill set of knowing how to build connection and how to build relationships and to be able to cultivate your own community, you're able to leverage your time so much more clearly because you know your people inside and out. You know how to speak their language. Your message lands with them. They're like, oh my gosh, you are in my head. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And as you create that level of experience, you have the capacity to be able to set up automations that land with your people versus it feeling like this cold blast email. It feels like you're actually building that conversation with someone else. And so to me, as AI takes over and more people are going to start playing with it, we're going to see a lot more volume of content getting produced across the internet, across social platforms or through emails. People are going to be mailing more frequently. People are going to sending more content because it's going to get easier to send it. And it's going to be more important than ever that we cultivate quality in what we're putting out, and we make relationships number one. We make connections with humans number one. And when we do that, you are going to stand out from everybody else who's jumping on the bandwagon.
Yep. Oh, I agree 100%. 100%. Well, I'm so excited for that training. I think that's going to be a game changer. So it's just rachelngom.com/Facebook. Again, go register. I'm super pumped. Anything else, Christina? I'm excited.
I know, me too. I'm excited. I'm like, there's no better time than now. So go to the link right now, jump in, grab it, and come meet me inside the Facebook group as we go through the training together.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait for your training.